What is good, horror horde? This is your boy Horror Gamer back with another video for you, and as you can tell by the title of this video, this is another Is It Worth the Hate? And boy, do I got a doozer for you today. But before I get into that, just know that your boy Horror Gamer's Is It Worth the Hates have spoilers in them all day, every day. So if you haven't seen this movie, go check it out. Come back, let me know in the comment section what you think, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, whether you think the movie's worth the hate or whether you don't. But with all that being said, anything beyond this point is on you. So, in this episode of Is It Worth the Hate, as you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be jumping into a movie that came out years ago, and it's a big part of your boy Horror Gamer's adolescence, and that movie is Darkness Falls. So, is Darkness Falls worth the hate that it is given? Because let me tell you something. Critics and some fans alike tear this movie apart. And is it warranted? In my opinion, absolutely not. This movie right here was one of my favorites as I was growing up. It was that and The Ring. They came out around the same time. So basically, the story behind Darkness Falls is it's this town of Darkness Falls where the Tooth Fairy the Tooth Fairy is real. And the story behind the Tooth Fairy is it was this lady who, she would, when a child would lose their tooth, she would take their tooth and give them a piece of candy. She was very, she was loved by the community and everything. Well, one day, some kids said that they were going to go visit the Tooth Fairy, and they went missing. And the village people thought that she killed them, and so they went and they basically burned her house down, and she got terribly burnt and everything. And the kids ended up coming out of the woods a couple days later or whatever. I don't know if they got lost or whatever, but she was so badly burned that like sunlight hurt her. And so no, they didn't burn it down. There was a fire, and she got burnt, and she wouldn't let kids near her. That's how the story went. They didn't burn her down. When the kids went missing, they went and hung her. Okay, that's how the story went. They went and hung her, and then she put a curse, because they pulled off her mask and stuff, that she said, what I took in life out of love, something like, I'll take in death out of hate, or whatever. And so the story goes, if you look at the Tooth Fairy, she kills you. So when you lose a tooth and you put it under your pillow, the Tooth Fairy comes and gets it, but if you look at her, she'll kill you. So that's what the story of don't look at the Tooth Fairy when she comes to get your tooth. But I thought it was a well done movie. Like the story behind it was creepy. The sense of urgency in the movie is creepy. The main character sees her as a kid. His mom gets killed. He moves to Las Vegas, where there's all these lights, like, the city that never sleeps kind of deal. There's all these lights, and the lights hurt the Tooth Fairy. So he gets called back to his childhood home after the girl he likes' brother starts experiencing the same shit he did with the Tooth Fairy and stuff. And so it's basically him trying to save the boy from the Tooth Fairy, and just all fuckery, just happens, and the Tooth Fairy literally wreaks havoc on these people. And I thought it was a well-made movie. I thought it was creepy. It freaked me out. Like, shit, when I was younger, I had to sleep with a light on after watching this for a little while, because it freaked me out. Is it a perfect movie? No, not at all. Not a perfect movie whatsoever, but it's still a well-done movie. It's still a well-made movie. It did what it was supposed to do. It's one of those, what's your boy Horror Gamer like to say? It's one of those movies that you got to turn your brain off, watch it for what it is, enjoy it, and then move on to the next. But it's one of those ones that you can watch more than one time. It's one of those that you can watch a few times and have fun with it still. That's the way this movie is. It's a fun movie. It's something that you can watch more than once. And I love the little mockumentary on here. They got a documentary of the real story behind the Tooth Fairy. It's Matilda Dixon. It's the legend of Matilda Dixon. That's a special feature on here. Now, is it real? I don't know. But they do a good job with, I think it's a mockumentary of the story behind her and what happens. And definitely watch that. After you watch this, watch that. It's almost like the special feature with the Blair Witch, where it's the Curse of the Blair Witch, that little mockumentary they had for it, to make it seem more real. That's what you got to do. After you watch these movies, check out them mockumentaries, because even if they aren't real, they still add to the lure of the movie. And that's what I like about it. It takes a lure, it takes, a legend, and it makes it kind of real. And then to add more meat to the potatoes, they add the mockumentary to make it seem real to the viewer. That's awesome. That's an awesome special feature. So, final verdict is Darkness Falls. Worth the hate that it gets. 100% absolutely not. This movie is definitely not worth the hate. Definitely recommend you check it out. Don't let people's opinions on this one steer you away from watching it. You owe it to yourself as a horror fan to at least check it out once, and then after that, if you don't like it, then you don't like it. But I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. It's one of my favorites, and it's definitely worth the watch. So definitely check it out. Darkness Falls. So yeah, Darkness Falls. Definitely not worth the hate. So, alright, Horror Horde, with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button along with that ding-a-ling-ding-ding button. Now every time your boy Horror Gamer throws up one of these, is it worth the hates, that you're in the know. Also, after you're done doing that, run on over to the Horror Gamer Patreon and see what awesome perks you get with being a patron. Just know that I did add another special perk for being a patron. Once a month, your boy Horror Gamer is going to hold patron exclusive giveaways starting in February. So if you want to be a part of that, head on over to the Horror Gamer Patreon and, become a patron. It's, I don't gouge people's prices. And remember, every penny that goes into the Horror Gamer Patreon comes back to the channel so I can make good content for you guys. And then when you're done doing that, run on over to the Z Network and see what awesome, stuff we got over there. It's a place for everybody. It's not just horror, it's a little bit of everything. So definitely check that out. And then with all that being said, Horror Horde, this is your boy Horror Gamer saying, as always, I love you guys. Thank you guys. And until next time, don't fear the darkness. Embrace it.